Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started because this is a Friday before a long weekend and you're going to come back to the first day of the school year. So I want to make sure we make good use of your time. I hear someone has their mic unmuted. If everyone could please make sure to mute your mic and make sure your camera's turned off. We are recording and we don't want to catch you or see anything that you don't want us to see or hear. So thanks so much. We're going to talk about just some quick specific topics today, like can we group students for therapy? We're going to go over that one more time. Supervision modules through e-learning. Libby has requested that you please share your STEPS information with your county therapists. We just now got off the phone talking about that, and we put that STEPS information, like the forms and that kind of thing, in the in your all's Teams group as a channel that you could access all the information, because we wanted you to have control, if you wanted it, to be able to determine whether or not your county utilize STEPS. But if it would be easier for you to share forms with your therapist through a OneDrive, we can definitely set that up, because I'd much rather you do that than share access to this Teams group to them, to the STEPS channel. So we can definitely just create a OneDrive and give you a link for that to share, and we'll post that in your Teams group. We're going to talk about scheduling one more time, because I just want to, give some reminders about your options. The new SLPA guidance document has been designed. Libby's already completed her proof of the document. I'm in the middle of mine, and so we will have that posted soon. I wanted to let you know that we are going to have begin the new SLP boot camp, possibly a little earlier than we've done in the past, because I think this year, you may need the support and they may need it too. We're going to discuss the 3-to-1 model quickly, and then your ideas and questions. The first day of school is here. We've gone from the unknown to knowing what we're facing, and now it's here. But you know what? We've got this. There are always bumps in the road on the first day of school, no matter what's going on. So you can expect there are going to be some bumps in the road the first day and week of school this year, just like any other year. But I want you to remember that policy, what you have to do. There might be some questions and clarifications that you're going to have, but your job and you know how to do it well. So just take a breath and know, everybody's going to experience some bumps this year, just like you always do. And if that happens, and you need our support, just reach out and we will be there to try to help you with it. And so will your special ed director. And, if you can make sure that you reach out to your therapists in your county too and support them, I know everyone is going to need that support this year. I keep getting questions about whether or not students can be grouped for therapy. And after the research that Susan Beck and our team has done, we feel that you can. I did have many requests to create a consent form for virtual therapy, and that's been done, and it was just approved about 12:40. So it hasn't been posted yet to the Special Education Directors Group, and once that happens, I will post it for you guys. But I want you to know that this is an optional consent form. If your county chooses to use it, they'll insert their letterhead on it, and they can make any changes they want to it. It is not the Department of Ed mandatory form or form in any way. It's just an example of the information that you need to include in a consent form, and that's based on researching several other states' virtual therapy consent forms. And it's written so that this format could be used for OT, PT, speech, TBI teachers, DHH, anybody who provides related services. And I will post it in your all's Teams group as soon as I've posted it in the Special Ed Directors group. I'm very happy to announce that the supervision modules we've been talking about for an entire year are finally finished, and they will be posted. Was that a question? I'm sorry. Okay. They are finally going to be posted on the e-learning website by September 14th. They were created from a team from WVU and Marshall worked together to create these for you. And these will take the place of the policy 5100 supervision information, and they will address your ASHA supervision requirements, lifetime requirements. So they'll be available. I'll send an email out with information about how to access them on e-learning. There are a total number of 7 modules that are 15 to 20 minutes long each. You will have to complete 4 questions and score 100% on each of the questions for each module. But if you guys have done e-learning modules in the past, you know that you keep getting the opportunity to redo the quiz until you get 100%. You'll have 30 days. The way it was set up for you to receive ASHA CEUs is that you will have 30 days from the time you begin the first module to complete all 7 modules. At the end of that time period, when you've completed all 7, you will receive over 3 hours of ASHA CEUs. And I apologize for not having the exact amount, but I emailed Kelly Rutherford, who's taking care of the ASHA CEUs for us through Marshall. And I didn't hear back from her. And she told me on a phone conversation it was over 3 hours, but I couldn't remember the exact amount. But that will be reported to your registry. The first thing you'll have to do for the module, the first module is provide your ASHA number and whether you're a member of the registry and that kind of thing. And you will receive a certificate with the ASHA CEU amount and that kind of thing on it from Kelly Rutherford. I'm to turn in the list to her the 15th of every month, and she'll send those certificates out. This does meet the lifetime requirement for ASHA for supervision, and it also includes ethical information. I need to check with her if that could count as the 2 hours of ethics that you need, training that you need for ASHA. But I don't think you can count it for both. So to meet the lifetime requirement for ASHA, if you do these modules, you'll have that completed. And they set up the supervision information based on grad students, SLPAs, and CF therapists. So I'm really excited. These modules, I think, are going to be so much more pertinent to what you're going to be doing with your SLPAs, grad students, and your CFY, especially for pertaining to West Virginia. Because of some discussions I've had with some counties lately, I just wanted to remind you that just because a parent may choose, let's say they choose in-person blended option for their child to receive their educational curriculum, that doesn't mean that you can only do in-person blended therapy with that student. And one of the reasons that is because if you think about it, there are going to be some students who will only be, depending on the county and their plan, who will only be in the school building 2 days a week. And with that classroom teacher is going to want to have every minute they can with that student. Now, if you can go in that classroom and provide your services then, I think that'd be a great option if that's appropriate. But if it's not, and you need to pull that student out, and there's any way that you could possibly provide that service through teletherapy, please remember that's an option for you, as long as the parent agrees to that and they're available for you to provide that teletherapy on one of those days that the student is still engaged in instruction, but it's not direct instruction while they're at home. That might be a possibility. I just wanted you to know you have those options. Another thing to consider is for students who have complex needs and multiple disabilities, if they have OT and PT as well, and you can provide your service virtually, it might be better if anyone's going to pull that student out to consider the PT, especially on the weeks that they're there or they plan to see that student. So just remember you have that flexibility. You also have the flexibility if a parent chose virtual, to offer to have that student come in for in-person therapy. The parent doesn't have to accept that. They don't have to agree to it, but you can offer that. So just remember that as well, that you do have some options. Libby has been working extremely hard trying to get a new system organized for us on how to do your SLPA paperwork. And she's been practicing with some of your SLPAs to see if we can get the system to work functionally. So what she's done is created 2 groups. One is an SLPA group, and then there'll also be an SLP supervisors group. We will have the new supervision plan since we have the new document. We will be posting those forms through assignments. Libby's going to talk about this in just a second, but anyway, we will have new supervision plans. If you've already turned your supervision plans into me, I've only received one so far that I know of, unless they've been mailed or faxed. So if you've already done that, please don't worry, you're absolutely fine. But she's also going to have in those groups specifically information about SLPAs. So the modules for calculating percentages, the modules that need to be completed and checked off on the supervision plan each year are now placed within those 2 groups. And she'll go over that as well. The document itself, the new document, will hopefully be posted at least to our lead SLP team and the SLPA and the SLP supervisors team by Tuesday. So you'll have the updated document. We are going to have a webinar that Libby's going to do next Friday at 2 o'clock to go over the new system and the new teams group and how to find your forms and that kind of thing. So she's also going to go over some changes that were made to the SLPA guidance document at that time. And what I'm going to do is give you a link to be able to join those teams. So I'm going to send it to you guys. And if you could send it to your SLPAs, there'll be a link for them to join that team. And if you could send it to your supervisors, there'll be a link for them to join the supervisors team. So Libby, is there anything else you want to say about this?
No, except that it's a work in progress. Be patient, but we're almost done. And I'm happy that the PowerPoints, the required PowerPoints or modules are now posted under files right now until we get the rest of the teams set up. So I'm so thankful for Haley and Maggie and Kevin and Lori and Alicia. Because they've been trying out different things and making sure that the system works. But in the long run, I think it's going to be easier. That's the goal, so that that information can be submitted and stored and available, particularly for Leanne when she gets questions about, is this person, up to date or certified or ready? So that, how saving time sometimes takes time initially, but I think we've worked out most of the kinks, and hopefully by this afternoon, I will be, you can look at it, but just realize that it's still a work in progress. We're going to be adding some things, but we're getting there, and I'm real excited about it. And I'm so thankful for the people who helped.
And that link to join those groups will go out immediately after this meeting on your listserv. We're also going to use these groups to send just kind of almost like email blasts, except just, checking in with people because we want to be able to provide coaching if we need to or support in any way. And we're going to do the same thing with your leads group. We'll be sending out messages, every now and then just to check and see how you guys are doing. So be sure and look for that. The new SLP boot camp is going to be virtual this year, of course, which, is going to be great, I think, because it gives us a lot of flexibility. We're going to start with a welcome meeting next Friday at 1. And the meeting will be scheduled for about an hour. We're going to go through some basic information with them talk to them about the resources we'll be mailing out and that kind of thing. We also have a registration link. We're going to send that along with your links to join those SLPA and SLPA supervisors groups, so that your new therapists, and that includes new SLPAs, so that both of them, if you have new therapists, can join that boot camp. We plan to do a little differently, and maybe spread the training out across a couple of weeks. Part of their registration link is asking them for their priorities, what they feel they need first, and we'll do it based on that. There also might be, because we've discussed it in our office, a new special educator boot camp virtually, just like we did last year. But because that wasn't as speech related, it was more general. We only had one person, I think, even register for that. For this, we can still provide speech specific support and coaching. And if we have the new special educator boot camp, then they'll have access to that information as well. If you have any suggestions on things you would like to have us include in our training, please either shoot me an email or post it in our Teams group. I just wanted to mention, I talked with one county this morning, and they're thinking about considering using the 3-to-1 model of service delivery. I think it's going to be a great option for counties this year because of the flexibility you're going to need. You're going to need time to sanitize between each in-person session. You're going to need time to set up between your virtual therapy sessions. So, just make sure that you, if you're going to be using it, if your county's chosen to use it, please contact me and let me know, because we'd like to provide some coaching and support for you people who are just starting out. And we'll do that by making a group of people who are doing, a team of people who are doing 3-to-1, and allowing you to talk with other therapists who are already using it, and determine some barriers that they've experienced and how you can address them and that kind of thing. I also want to be sure that you're documenting the indirect services so that it meets the expectations of the Office of Federal Programs monitoring team. So if your county or your therapists are using 3-to-1, please be sure and contact me. There were several counties who were using it last year, and we had a team of them. But that way, too, we can put sample forms, we can ask questions in a Teams group and that kind of thing to support you with that. I just don't want anyone to be doing it incorrectly, because I've honestly heard reports from around the state that some people are concerned about us recommending this model because people aren't using it appropriately. But you need to be doing it as it's set up, because if you don't, not only are you not doing what you need to do for the student, but you're also jeopardizing your ability to use it. Because if principals and special ed directors think that you don't have anything to do that week, that won't last very long, or that you're not using it appropriately. So please contact us if you are.
Leanne, there's a question about the new therapist boot camp. Can contracted therapists be included in this training?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If they're serving a county, we always include contracted therapists in any of our trainings, and they are more than welcome to join this one. Okay. We ask this every time, but just a reminder, if you have ideas of how we can support you, please let us know as they pop up. Just put them in our Teams group, because we do check that. And we are, checking and trying to provide responses as we get them. So, but if you have ideas of what we can do to help support you, please let us know. Now, we can open it up to questions and concerns. Libby, is anything posted yet besides that one question?
Nope, that was the only question.
Okay. All right, so we'll just give you a minute to see if anyone has a question. Instead of typing it out, you can just raise your hand and Libby can call on you, because I can't see you right now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen though so I can. Okay, well, oh, I see one hand, but I can't see who it is.
You have Lee and you have Ingrid.
Okay, let's start with Ingrid. Ingrid, go ahead. You can just unmute.
You just click on your mic and it unmutes it.
Oh, it says she's waiting in the lobby. Let's see if she got kicked out. Lee, while she's getting back in, why don't you go ahead and do your question?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So you had said, talking about students having that flexibility to maybe come into the building, and that, I think I maybe kind of asked this last week, that is not, there's no recommendation or requirement from the state that if they come in, like you said, for PT, that they have to be there the entire day or receive additional services during the time that they're there. The team can decide just PT needs to be in person or just speech needs to be in person, and they come to that.
It sounds like you're fading off, but I think I have your question. I'm going to restate it and you let me know if that's right. You're wanting to know if there's anything from the State Department that says that if you offer for a student to come into the building for services when they've chosen virtual learning, if there's anything that says they have to stay in the building the entire time the day they receive services. Is that correct?
Correct. Or do they have to get all of their services in that fashion? Can the team say that just one of them is best in person, the rest can be virtual?
Is that it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing that I think you need to remember is it's an IEP team decision as to how the service is provided. If you recommend that the person come in, in-person therapy, you can definitely recommend that, but you can't, the parent needs to be informed that you think that's the best way. But then, follow the direction of your county special ed director as far as if there's a dispute about that. I just wanted you to know that you do have the flexibility to offer that. There's nothing from the State Department that says it's mandatory that they be offered that. There's nothing, but you do need to offer what you think is going to provide faith. There's nothing from the State Department that says if they come in for that one service, they have to stay the whole day or they have to receive all their services that way. That's an IEP team decision. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so Stephanie, I see your question. You missed the call last week. Was there any guidance on screenings? I did discuss it, and we talked about the fact that then I talked to the lead, the nursing coordinator at the State Department, and she said each county is designing their own options. And then we did share some information. People put in chats how they're doing it. And so I haven't been able to post that recording yet because they added a new transcription piece that I think is the issue. Some of our recordings that were made later than last week have gone through the process and are ready to post. So I'll double check that, but I can definitely get the chat information off of that for you because people posted it in chat and share that. Okay, and I will get last week's meeting up as soon as I possibly can, as soon as it's not stuck in transcription. Well, I don't see any other questions, and I definitely don't want to take up any more of your time. Just know we're available, and we definitely are here to support. We want to make sure that to wish you a wonderful first week of school. You've got this, you really do. Just know it's not going to be perfect. We don't expect it to be. It never is. The first day of school never is. I worked at a primary school for probably the last 20 years that I worked, and we always lost kids on the first day because they didn't know where they lived or they couldn't even tell the bus driver their names. So things are going to happen, but just remember that the student's safety and your safety is the utmost priority for the State Department. It really is. There are 4 priorities even from IDEA and Office of Special Ed Programs and the Department of Education, and student and staff support is the first priority. be sure to be that one caring adult for these students because they really need that. And when you need support, please reach out. That's why we're here, and we all have each other. We have a great team here, and we can help each other. So please be sure and reach out.
Leanne, there was a question about, can you review the times for the meetings and trainings next week?
Sure, I'll be glad to do that. Let me get this unshared very quickly. And actually, I'll just go back through the PowerPoint. That'll probably be the easiest way. The new SLP boot camp will be, the welcome meeting will be Friday the 11th at 1. And the training for the SLPA group will be Friday the 11th at 2. So they're right after the other. And one more question I did want to ask, and you can just put your response in the chat quickly. Because we're starting school and this is kind of an unprecedented year, we already have our October meeting scheduled, and I sent you the schedule for the rest of the year. But would you like to have a meeting, a group meeting prior to October, since we're just starting out this month? You can just put yes or no in the chat box, and if we do it, then I'll probably do it the 11th.
We're getting lots of yeses.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Would you like one next week or in 2 weeks? Just put next or 2 in the chat box.
I'm seeing yes, pleases, yes, pleases. So they need to put next or
next if they want it next week, or 2 if they want it in 2 weeks.
Most of them are saying 2 weeks.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll get that scheduled and send out a link, and you'll use the same link for that one, and we'll do that meeting at 9. Since this one was at 1.
And that would be on the 18th.
On the 18th at 9, and I'll send out, I'll include that information in the listserv message I'm going to send out in just a few minutes. Okay, if there's nothing else, just know we're thinking about you on Tuesday. Relax and have a great long holiday weekend. And just remember, you've got this. You can do it. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.